Hi there! In this video, I will show you how to set up always free application load balancer on Oracle Cloud and how to set up HTTP and HTTPS listeners. As a prerequisite for this video, you need to have an active Oracle Cloud account and at least 2 web servers on Oracle Cloud. You'll also need a reserved public IP, a valid SSL certificate and key, and a public DNS record that points to the reserved IP. Today, I will be using the web server that I created in my previous video, in which I showed you how to install and configure Apache web server on Oracle Cloud instance and how to get free SSL from Let's Encrypt. I also created a second web server, identical to the one I did in the previous video. That way, I'll have a couple of backend server that I can point my load balancer to. If you're planning to follow along, it's not a bad idea to first check out my previous video. You can access it from the link above. So to begin, I'm going to go ahead and log into Oracle Cloud, then go to Compute and Instances. And here you can see the 2 instances that I have running. Now this is the one we did in the previous video, and this is the second one that I did. So the first thing I need to do is I need to release this public IP. This is that reserved IP because I'm going to be using that one for the load balancer. And if you remember in the last video, we created an app called Hello World that currently points to that IP and it hits directly the web server. So if I go to on my Mac and my terminal and I ping this, you will see that it hits that 129.158.55.220. So what I want to do is I want to release that IP so I use it on the load balancer. So I'm going to go and click on my web server. And then here I'm going to scroll down and go to attached VNIC, and then the VNIC, and then I'm going to scroll down here and click on IP version 4, and the 3 dots and edit. Now here what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the public IP. That way it will release the reserved one. Click update. Now as you can see, we don't have a public IP. And I'm going to go back and assign a public IP again to it, but this time I'm going to grab one from a pool. That way I can connect to that instance. I'm going to click edit. Then ephemeral public IP, and then update. And that didn't work. Let's try it one more time. All right, that looked better. So now we got a new IP address. So now that we have a new IP address for that instance, we can actually go ahead and connect to it. So if I do cd, give it a path to my key, and then Ubuntu is the default user for those instances, and the new IP. And since it's a new IP for the server, I'm going to have to accept the fingerprint, type yes. And there you go, I'm connected to the Web 1. Clear my screen here. So we connected to Web 1. Since we're here, let's go ahead and connect to Web 2. I'm going to go grab that IP. So Web 2 would be this one. All right. So now I have access to both and my reserved IP is available. So I'm going to go ahead now and create the load balancer. So I can search for load balancer here, and it's this one. And in the load balancer, you can just click on create load balancer. And in our case, we're going to do a application load balancer. So we're going to keep this selection here. Then in the next screen, you can change the name of it. I'll just keep it to the default. It will be a public load balancer. And here we'll select the reserved IP. And since I only have one, it's already pre-selected. And then for the bandwidth, I cannot change that since I'm using the free tier. So it will stay what it is. And here we're going to select our virtual cloud network and our subnet. All right, and then we can go next. For backend, I'm going to select the round robin, and I'm gonna add my backend server. Since we picked the subnet, it already knows the servers that are available on that subnet, so it automatically shows them here. So you can just select them and add them. And this is the health check. It's just gonna check on root, so that we can just leave as default. For now, we're just gonna select HTTP, and later we'll come back, create another listener for HTTPS. So just leave it HTTP and leave the port to 80. And this is for logs. I just do the defaults, submit, and then it's gonna start provisioning the load balancer. This takes a couple of minutes. So while we're waiting here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out those SSL keys so we can configure SSL. So if you remember last time, we set up SSL key and certificate from Let's Encrypt. And if you don't remember the path to them, it will be in your Apache configuration file. But if you're using your own certificate and the key, I guess you don't have to do that. But in my case, I'm gonna go look that up since I don't remember what they were. So I'm gonna cat my Apache configuration file. And the path to my key and certificate is here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cat those files. Oh, I need to switch to root. My certificate and my private key. There you go. I'm gonna go back here now and let's check out on our load balancer and see if it's showing up. And it'll be under networking and load balancers. All right, we have our load balancer. It's up and running and it's all active and all. Now if I go here and click on this app now, it should just work. Yeah, connection refused since it's only listening on port 80, and if you try to access it on HTTPS on 443, it's not gonna work. So if you go to HTTP only, and then you're gonna get the hello world from it. So now let's go back to it and create a second listener that listens to HTTPS. So click here, and then you can go to listeners, and then we're gonna click on create listener to create the second listener. You can call it anything you want. I'm just gonna call it HTTPS, change the protocol to HTTPS and port 443. And since we're gonna be using our own certificate, we're gonna click on load balancer manage certificate. And here, since we don't have any certificates uploaded, you're gonna have to click on add certificate to add your new certificates. So load balance manage certificates, add a certificate, and I'll call it, what's my application called? Hello World. You can call it anything you want. In my case, I'll just call it Hello World. And I'm going to paste the certificate here. I can go now and get it from my web server. I'll just copy all of this and paste it in a box. And then we're gonna also put our private key, the same thing. I'm gonna grab it from here and paste it. And in your case, if you have your own, if you didn't follow along from the previous video, you probably have your own key and certificate, but basically you do the exact same thing. Just copy, paste your key and certificate into these two boxes here, and you can go ahead and click on add certificate. It seems like you got accepted. And you can go and close this. And if I refresh now, I should see the certificate here. All right, now, if I go load balancer managed, then I can see my Hello World certificate. Now I'm gonna have to go back to my listeners. So I guess you can first come and add a certificate. I kind of did it backwards, but anyway. Going back to my listeners, create a listener, HTTPS 443, here local balance manage certificate, and then now I see my certificates that I just added to Hello World. So I add him here, I give it the backhand that we're going to use that we created earlier when we were building the load balancer, and everything else you can just leave it the way it is, and then create a listener. And it did accepted it, so it will take like a few seconds here, and it should show us our second listener that listens our 443. So if you come back here, there you can see it, and so the cipher that it uses, and all that fun stuff. Now if I go back here to this application and I refresh it, and it should just work. Now what do we see? Too many redirects. Oh yeah, so if you followed along and you did the previous video, if you remember in the previous video, what we did is we set up a redirect, and we have to go and turn that off now. So I'm on web 1, so if I go to my Apache configuration file, sites enabled, and then hello world. And if you remember here, this redirect, we have to turn this off. Okay, and then save the file, and then service Apache to restart. I'm going to restart our web server. I'm going to copy this so I can just paste it on the other server. Since I made a clone of that first server, the configuration here is the same. So I'm going to have to go in and change it. So we're going to turn off this redirect. We did that, if you remember in the previous video, we did that. And if you haven't seen the video, we basically did this redirect. So if somebody comes on port 80, get redirected to 443 automatically. So we always have secure traffic, but the load balancer will be doing that for us now. So we don't need it, and this causes this too many redirects error. And now if you look it forward, it's probably sent me to the web server 1, and that's why it's working. And if it do, and since the other one is not replying, it seems like it's working, but technically it's not. So we're going to want to come and change here and restart the Apache too. I misspelled it. There we go. So now it should be working. And so just to prove that it's balancing from one server to the other, what we can do is on web server 1, we can go and change the index file here, and we can say, where is that? var www hello world index, and here we can say hello world from web 1. And the same thing we're going to go and do on our web 2 server, and we're going to say hello world from web 2. And now if I go and refresh my page, now I'm hitting the web 1 server, now I'm hitting the web 2 server, and there we go. Now we have a load balancer that does round robin and sends the traffic from web 1, web 2. So this is pretty much it. You have a load balancer that balances all the traffic between the two web servers. This is just as a proof of concept. Of course, you're not going to use that since the two web servers are serving different code. But I think I'm going to make another video in which I'm going to show you how to attach block storage to both of those servers. And that way all your code will be the same. They both will be looking from the same block storage and will be serving the same stuff. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please click on the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe for my channel.